What is up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we have a special guest. My hubby is here. We are gonna do a little pregnancy Q&A. I wanted to kind of fill in all the gaps from what you saw in the vlog. If you watched our first trimester vlog, we just didn't talk all about like everything that went down in the first trimester. So I got a bunch of your questions on Instagram and I thought it'd be really fun for the two of us to go through them and kind of share with you like the reality of the first trimester, because it was a wild ride. The first question is, how did you and Ethan find out? Do you want to answer this one?
Sure.
Okay.
Sarah started to feel pretty bad. Not that nauseous, but just weird.
Remember how tired I was?
Yeah, like fatigue and kind of like flu-y, but without having a fever or anything like that. And like just should we not a COVID test, or should
right? Oh
should
yeah.
we make sure you're
that
feeling
was my
right?
That was my first inkling, because I hadn't missed my period, so I was like, maybe I have COVID, which like now I can't go to Thanksgiving, and so
yeah, it was the week
I was stressing
before
about that.
Then that Saturday, she just was like, you know what, I'm just going to take a pregnancy test, because we were like, do you think there's a chance? And she's like, it would just be so early. So we're Googling like, how early do you feel first trimester pregnancy
and how early
symptoms?
can you take a test? Because I think you can only take the test like 4 days before your missed period.
Yeah, so we were waiting because we were supposed to get it like the next Tuesday or something like that. Yeah. So I remember she was like, I don't want to take it because I don't want it to be negative, because we had like the week before we were like, all right, let's start trying. So in our minds we're like, wow, this would be crazy.
There's no way I could be
she's
pregnant already.
Sick.
Like
it's been a month.
we just tried.
No, it's been a week.
Yeah.
But then she took it that Saturday night and it
was positive.
Yeah, like immediately. And
immediately, like I hadn't even pulled up my pants. Like you know how normally they're like, it takes a minute or 30 seconds or whatever it is. It was immediate.
So I walked in, she called me in.
I was just like, babe.
She was standing there with this like shocked look. And I just walked out of the bathroom and was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, he just walked out here and like put his hand on his head and was like, oh my God. And then he came back in and we were just hugging and crying and like, we just could not believe it. And it was very much this moment of like, what the F did we do? And like at first I was like, is that a normal way to feel like right when you find out? But I've talked to other people and other people have told me like that was their initial feeling too. Like it's just crazy how real it becomes immediately.
Because there's always the nerves about like, for me anyway, but like not being able to get pregnant. And what if we can? And there are those things that you're thinking. So when it happens, like, for us, we were lucky enough for it to happen, and it's so just lucky. Like this out of body experience. Like I remember hugging and tearing up, but I sat down for a little bit after, and I was just like so like overjoyed and happy. And
we were just like sitting here staring at each other, like after like the initial we just let the shock hit us. We were just sitting like in the living room like this, and then I was like, I want to go get another test. So that was actually the next question, which was how many pregnancy tests did you take? So I already had a digital one here. That was the first one I took. I would never personally decide to take the one that's like the line that faintly shows up. I'm like, why would you put yourself through that? So I wanted one to either say pregnant or not pregnant.
What did we get? Clear blue?
Clear blue, I think.
It was like the definitive
digital.
It says the word pregnant.
Yeah, or not
pregnant.
So we went and got another one of those. We went to CVS and we got like a bunch of candy and another pregnancy test. The people at the checkout were probably like, what the fuck are these people doing? And I took that right when we got back and it said pregnant, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was pretty
wild.
Crazy, pretty immediate.
So the next question was, were you trying to get pregnant, which we kind of just touched on.
We had started like, you check the cycle, the ovulation cycles. And
we had end of 2020 in our mind too. Right. I downloaded the Flow app and I started tracking my period like maybe a couple months before, and then that month, so November, we were like, let's try. Let's like, track the day and see what happens. And what ended up happening was, we went to Thanksgiving, and when I had called my doctor, based on the way they count from the first day of your last period. So she was like, you're probably 4 weeks right now, based on that.
You'd be 5 weeks on Thanksgiving. That's what she said.
Okay, so then the day after Thanksgiving, I had some light bleeding, and I freaked out. I was so scared, and everything I had seen in my research was like, if there's any type of blood, like you need to call your doctor. So I called my doctor immediately, and this is my old doctor now because I fired her, because she was I actually didn't get my doctor on the phone. It was a nurse practitioner, but she was so not helpful, and she did nothing to help in like easing my anxiety and my stress. She basically said to me, like, it's a holiday weekend, so if you came in, we could do your blood work, but we couldn't follow it throughout the weekend because it's a holiday weekend, so we just recommend you go to the ER. And I was crying, obviously, being like, okay, well, like, what does this mean? Should I be worried? And she was like, well, bleeding can mean preeclampsia, miscarriage, basically listing off all the things you see on Google. Yeah, ectopic pregnancy.
Ectopic, I think it's called.
Pregnancy. So I was like, the fact that you just said those words to me as I'm like in a hysterical state, I'm just so mad. So whatever, we go to the ER. I end up finding out that I had a, what's it called?
Subchronic hemorrhage.
Subchronic hemorrhage, which is super common and nothing to be alarmed about. Just needed time to heal. And what we found out, because they did an ultrasound and blood work in the ER.
We were also there for 6 hours.
Of course, it was Black Friday. It was like hell traffic getting to the ER. It was so stressful. We were both just like beside ourselves. We spend all day in the ER. We finally get in there and the doctor or the PA comes back and she's like, so I think you're a lot further along than you thought. And I'm like, what? How is that possible? And she's like, you're actually 8 weeks pregnant. You're not 5 weeks pregnant.
8 weeks and 2 days.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. And I was freaked out because I was like, okay, I just lost 3 weeks of my life. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, this is so much better. We can tell people sooner. Now I know why I've been sick for so long. So it ended up being a blessing. Mm-hmm. So I basically didn't find out I was pregnant until I was 8 weeks pregnant.
Yeah, 8 weeks. And 7 weeks, because it was a week before Thanksgiving.
Right.
So
it was honestly great because had I known at 4 or 5 weeks to wait until 12 or 13, it's so hard.
Yeah, it was good we could tell our parents before Christmas because keeping it from them like at Thanksgiving and around that holiday is really hard.
Yeah, especially while everyone's drinking and I'm feeling terrible.
You know, my brother's out in LA, I'm talking to him and like it's just like I'm not being normal. I can tell I'm not being normal. Yeah. It's just so freaking hard not to tell people the biggest news of like our lives so far.
So the next question is first symptoms, which again we kind of touched on, but I was sleeping so much. Like I remember one day we came home, we were in New Hampshire seeing probably our nieces, and we came home and I slept on the couch for like, I just passed out for like 3 hours. And I remember thinking that was really weird because that's not like me. And
Sarah sleeps, but not for
hard,
that long.
Like not hard naps. So I was like, something's up.
Yeah. I was in the gym actually, kind of on the side. I was at the gym and I get a text from Sarah and like, she never texts me. We don't text because I mean, we're together 24/7. So like my stomach kind of like drops a little bit. I open it and it just is this screenshot of like flu-like symptoms and can be pregnancy. And I'm just like, okay. And this is Friday before we took the test. And I was just like, I texted her back and said, like, are we having a baby? Like, is that what you're trying to get at here? Like,
because I Googled, like, I was like, why do I feel so bad? And I Googled, like, can you feel, you have the flu in your first trimester? And basically the article was like 100%. Like, these are all flu symptoms. So the next question is, how did you know it was the right time?
What does that mean? To have
kids?
To
start trying.
We've been together for probably 12 years in June.
I know.
Right? And 12 years.
Yeah.
We've been married for 3, and
he's wanted kids for a while too. Like, not that you wanted to start trying a lot earlier, but he's like such a paternal person. Like you're so good with kids, and like you've all like if we had gotten pregnant 2 years ago, you would have been thrilled.
Yeah, I knew.
Whereas I was not ready yet.
Yeah, I've just known that like I want to have kids.
Yeah, you're just
and I knew that I wanted to have kids with you, so
you were ready a little before I was, but I think
not to.
No, you didn't pressure me at all. You didn't pressure me at all.
Making it sound like I was like, can we have a kid?
No, you were just ready. I just knew he was ready, so it was more like me being like, I'm ready for us to be like, okay, let's actually.
The other thing,
consider this.
Like, you know, Sarah with her business, leaving her company.
That was the biggest thing.
Like that
gave me pause.
She wanted to build her business, and
I wanted to feel like, financially ready, like.
We wanted to make sure we were well equipped to be the best parents that we can be, because it's a huge, responsibility of having a kid and taking that on. So there are a lot of things that we wanted to check off and make sure we were.
At the end of the day, it was just like, I was kind of like, I'm ready. Like, I think also being around our nieces so much, that really like made me be like, oh, I want my own kids, because we love our nieces so much. This one is, were you on birth control before, and how long after did you get pregnant? So yes, I was on birth control like my whole life, like since I was, I want to say 15. So I decided to go off birth control over the summer. It
was like May.
Yeah. And it was actually funny. I actually lost my pill, and I was like, well, this feels like a good sign to just stop taking it. So, friends and family had told me, if you do want to start trying to get off, and I don't know if this is like legit, this is just what I was told and I went with it. If you want to start trying and get off the pill like 3 months before you actively start trying, I guess that's just so the hormones are out of your system. I'm not really sure, but I was like, well, I may as well get off it then, and we'll just, we're not trying, but we'll just be careful. And so I went off it in May, and then we got pregnant in beginning of October. Yeah. How many children would you like to have?
Well, I want a big family. I
say minimum 2, maximum 4. And like,
so 4.
Clearly I'm 16 weeks pregnant on Thursday. So like, it's a funny question, because I'm like, I don't even know what it's like to have one child. So like, I cannot answer that question. Like, I may be like, I'm good with one. I don't think that'll happen.
I think we know for sure that we want this kid to have a sibling.
Yes.
Because both of us grew up with brothers. Yeah. We just definitely grew up that way, and would like to have,
It would be cool to have 4 though. I think it would be absolute insanity.
Yeah.
But it would be cool. I don't know. We'll see.
But like she said, we're 16 weeks into the pregnancy of the first one. So it's a weird question to think about. Yeah.
Okay. Is pregnancy more difficult than you expected? I'll take this one.
Yes.
It is so much more difficult than I expected. I remember laying in bed one night with him and being like, I just wish someone told me how hard it was going to be.
Some people did.
And I guess some people did. And it's not on anyone else. It's more just like, I did not realize, like I did not fully understand what this actually meant. And everyone's pregnancy is different. So some people,
we've heard they loved it, didn't get sick at all.
Yeah, don't go through anything like I went through. I feel like I've been through the ringer in the first 3 months.
Sarah also has like nausea issues anyway.
I have a weak stomach, so my nausea has been awful. The fatigue and exhaustion has been way more than I expected.
I will say, we didn't even know she was pregnant for 7 weeks.
That's true.
And it was only like the end of the 7th week that she started to feel really bad.
Yeah.
So for
it
the
wasn't
first
even
6
3
weeks,
months.
First 6 weeks, Sarah didn't feel sick, or like she didn't feel like she felt normal. So
from
that's
7 to 13 were rough.
Yeah.
But about 13 and a half, 14, it's been significantly better.
Yeah,
so.
She'll get like some bouts of like some nausea now, but
like I feel exhausted
but
today.
She can do stuff. Like there was a time where she couldn't work, like you couldn't do anything.
I just couldn't get out of bed.
She was just like so tired, and I mean, it makes sense. You're growing another person.
Yeah.
So
and like to go on top of that, all of the pressure of like having to get work done and be a functioning person every day. Because you work for
yourself, so it's not like you can just kind of escape. But like if you don't work, like
I don't make money. It was very hard for me to be like, okay, I'm not getting anything done, and like I have things due to brands, or like I've promised content to my followers, like, and I want to be working, but like I just physically could not.
And it was hard. I remember you saying you didn't feel like you could be yourself fully.
Yeah,
because you weren't telling.
I couldn't go on stories and like be genuine, because I was like, I am sick and I can't, like I couldn't even tell you guys. So that was really, really hard. Yeah. I've been nauseous almost every day, at least for like an hour. But I can get through an hour of nausea. That's not a big deal. It's just like the constant.
And it's not like knocking you off your feet nausea like it was.
I can eat. I can have those lozenges. That's actually another question, so I'll just pop over to that one. Nausea remedies. So those lozenges that they have, he got me these ginger lemon ones like right when we found out I was pregnant, and those saved me. I mean, I definitely still felt terrible. Like I was eating them in bed before going to sleep because I was so nauseous going to sleep. But they really do curb and cut the
those are like one of the only things that work.
Nothing else really worked. I got nausea medication from my doctor, but I didn't want to take it because the side effects were constipation, and I felt like that was part of the reason that I was also nauseous in general, because I already was constipated. So What can I do?
And one time you took them, that was the only time you threw up.
That's right. The one time I took the nausea pill, about 20 minutes later, I was throwing up.
Well, that's the only time you threw up.
Yes.
Was after you took...
Right.
You had taken the nausea medication like one other time before that, and it helped.
Yeah.
But then the second time you took it, you threw up.
And so then I was scared. I was like, okay, well, if this is just going to make me throw up.
Those ginger lozenges, they don't even have to be the pregnancy ones. They're just
I'll link some below for you guys in case you're looking for them.
They worked really well.
Yeah.
I got some... There was some like nausea tea as well.
Oh yeah,
it was like ginger nausea tea.
That was pretty good.
It worked okay.
Yeah.
It's just like you got to make tea every time.
Yeah, it's
easier to pop in a lozenge or like bring those with you.
And I had them everywhere I went. I could not leave the house without them. Did you cry a lot at the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, it was...
I cried a lot. I cry a lot anyway. I cry all the time. So, like, the hormones and the... Like, I could cry right now on command. Like, I truly... Sometimes I just feel like I'm always about to cry.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. It's okay if you're crying. I thought that was, like, that's a very specific question from someone who's probably crying a lot at the beginning of their pregnancy and, like, just know that's okay.
I mean, I teared up when we found out.
Yeah, but that's not what the question is.
Oh, okay. Well, it's asking, did you cry a lot?
I thought she meant like because of, but maybe she meant like when we found out. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
The answer is yes.
I will say, we were watching The Office, and it's when Pam's pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
And she's sitting at her work desk, and you just hear the travel, 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 and it's the Travelers commercial with the dog.
Yeah.
And Jim's like, it's all right, it's just a commercial. And she's like,
that's exactly what we went through.
His bone. She's just crying, and that's like the exact.
I can't watch commercials.
Sarah just sees something and just like I almost know when she's gonna do it now because I see if something's like emotional or touching or sad, and she just like I can see her eyes welling up, and I'm like, oh boy.
I'm kind of like that anyway. So like it's almost like pregnancy has heightened everything that's like already been in me, you know?
Yeah.
Is it all rainbows and butterflies like they say? Yeah. I don't know who says that, but no. The answer is no. We've already kind of touched on why, but the answer is no.
I think it's not because it's.
I don't mean that in like a grateful,
like
we are so blessed and we feel so lucky. Like, in no means do I mean like, oh, this sucks. But
I think it's just
I just
like,
want to be real that like it is hard.
Yeah, I think it's just the responsibility of something you've never done before, and maybe it'll be different if we have another kid, and like you understand what your body's doing and how you're supposed to feel. Yeah. But there's this like just this responsibility of like something. I was saying this to you this morning that.
You cannot.
There are so many stressors that come along, like something doesn't feel right and it's the first time, and like it's immediate, like what does this mean? Should I call the doctor?
Yeah, is something wrong?
We're kind of high stress people anyway,
right.
So some people don't worry about it.
We're not a laid back couple at all.
But I mean, like it's just a feeling of like I said before, you have no control.
And you have no idea.
Like you can control what you eat. You can control like okay, don't eat sushi or don't drink alcohol. Like obviously those are things you can control, but you can do all the right things and it still is hard
and scary.
and scary and things can go wrong, and you know it's just like this. It's this responsibility that you don't really have control of right now.
Yeah. So my doctor said something that really stuck with me that I wanted to share with you guys because I thought it was so well put, which is people mistake commonality with ease. That was what she said to me. She was like, we see pregnant people all the time. We know babies are born every day. We know people give birth. Everyone knows someone who's been pregnant. And it's so common to us. But people mistake that commonality with ease. So like, just because it happens every day and just because it happens all the time, like that doesn't mean it's easy. And that like spoke to me on such a level. I was like, okay, like, thank you. Like,
not supposed to be.
No, and I got cut off, but I was saying, if you are pregnant and you're feeling like, oh my God, this is a lot harder than I realized it was going to be, like, just know I am experiencing that too, and you're not alone in that. Because I remember in the first trimester, especially when you can't tell anybody, like, I just remember thinking the whole time, like, is this normal? Yeah. Should I be feeling this? Should this be this hard? And, like, now coming out of the first trimester, I know, like, that's okay. Are you going to find out the gender?
We are not. We decided together that we're not going to do it.
Yeah, we're really excited to be surprised on the day.
Both our parents didn't know.
Yep, and as long as none of our doctors mess it up for us, we will hopefully not know until July.
I know a couple friends who did it too, and one of my friends said it was the best surprise, ever, obviously.
Yeah, we've heard from everyone that's done it that it's the best thing ever.
We also have friends that found out, and they were like, I can't not know.
Yeah, some of my friends are like, I can't believe you're doing that. You're out of your mind.
I get it. Sometimes I want to know.
I'm actually surprised we're doing it considering how much of like a control freak I am, and like we want to know, you know, but it's going to be
able
awesome.
To plan everything.
My mom did it with me. I don't know if she did it with my brother, but she did it with me, and I actually saw the video of me being born. Like, I saw her at the hospital, and like, she already had my brother, so she wanted a girl, and the first thing she said when I came out was like, my girl.
They said that, well, it's a girl, darling.
And she was just like, my girl, and it was
girl.
It was the sweetest thing. I was like, oh, I was crying watching. It was so awesome. So I'm hoping that it works out and we're able to be surprised. So there won't be a gender reveal. I know you guys have been asking that. There will not be a gender reveal. Sorry. The gender reveal will be on the baby's birthday. Well, probably won't tell you the day he or she is born, but are you afraid of labor? Yes, I am. I keep telling him I'm afraid. I'm like so excited to have a baby, like not have the baby, but have a baby. Yeah. I can't wait. Like, I feel like now that I'm pregnant, I'm like seeing kids and I'm like, I'm so excited. I cannot wait, but I am terrified of labor. Terrified. I won't lie to you.
Normal. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, my sister-in-law has told me, like, don't be afraid. It's really not that bad. I know everyone has completely different birthing stories and labor situations. I also know people who've had very complicated labor. So I've heard it all. And I just have no idea what mine will be like. So yeah, I'm naturally terrified.
I mean, it's a crazy thing to think about.
Yep. But the next question was, will you get an epidural? And the answer is yes. Yeah. I'm not trying to be a hero. Nothing against people who don't get epidurals.
Some people don't. We know people that didn't.
Neither of our moms did. Power to you. I'm going to be an epidural person. Hopefully everything works out that way, because I know some people want to get it and then it's too late. And it's like, oh my God. But I'm planning to get it.
We're trying to not have like too much. We don't want to have this like strict birthing plan.
Yeah.
Like, we'll have a plan going in, but I just know that like things change on the fly, and there are a lot of things that can happen different than you were expecting them, and we don't want to set ourselves up to be upset if things don't go the way we like.
I'm just not a very flexible person, so I'm trying to live in that.
We just want to have a healthy baby. That's all we want.
Yeah. Favorite craving? Probably Trix. My cereal. I have been loving cereal. Like, can't stop eating it. Like, I have a bowl a day. That's probably my favorite thing I eat. Yeah. And I like look forward to it in the morning.
At the beginning, like, Sarah hates eggs, or typically like doesn't like eggs. Yeah. And like this was another sign that things were way off, because she woke up in the morning those 2 days and didn't feel good, and I was like, oh, do you want? I can make you some breakfast if you want. And okay, like, eggs would be good. And I'm like, hold on a second.
Something's up. I usually hate eggs. Eggs usually make me nauseous.
So for the first couple of weeks, you ate eggs almost every day.
Not weeks. It was like a few days I ate them.
No, it was like the first 2 weeks.
No, every day I ate eggs.
I made scrambled eggs with cheese.
I think that happened like 3 times. But
whatever.
Okay. What are you most excited about being a mom and dad? I think I'm most excited about the initial holding our child, like holding our baby, like that moment.
I think for a long time now we've been, well, especially around our nieces, since Sarah's brother moved home from Virginia, and we've been around them so much. I mean, we lived with them for a little while. Yeah. And just like how, like, watching your brother and his wife, like, with them, and how much they love them, and like how much the kids love them too, and it's just like that connection about being mom and dad. And like, don't get me wrong, there are times where it's like, oh my God. But like, I'm just excited to have that connection that you can never, like, it's just your kid, you know. So
we actually got the question, did you get genetic testing done? Yes, we did. We actually have some more genetic testing that I just got blood work for yesterday.
Sarah's doctor does 2 different sets. Some doctors only do 1 and it's fine. Some like to do the second trimester.
I guess.
Yeah, so because the first one is like they
first
do
trimester.
It like
how many
9 weeks?
9 weeks.
10 weeks they did
and
it.
And that's for Down syndrome.
I think it was like.
I think 1 or 2 other things.
Yep.
They can tell the sex by that.
That's the one where you can get like they know the sex of our baby. Right. And they've known for
because it's on there. It says the chromosomes X,
since week 11. They've known.
XX.
Yeah. So that one checks for the initial.
And then the one that I got yesterday is for spina bifida, and
there are a number of other things that it checks for.
So yes, we got genetic testing. We got both. But the first one came back super low risk, like best thing we could have asked for. So that was great. What are you most nervous for?
Like I think I said before, I just want to have a healthy baby. And
I'm nervous about the no sleep thing for so long.
Well, I don't sleep anyway, so it'll be fine.
And like we were also talking about this on our baby moon, but like I'm nervous about this sounds kind of weird maybe, but like having another person in our relationship, like it's only been the two of us for so long.
It's just weird to think about.
It's weird to think that like it will never just be the two of us ever again.
Yeah,
that makes me a little, it doesn't make me nervous in a bad way, but it's just like I've never been good with change, and this is obviously a
big page turn.
Yeah, huge life change.
I'm probably most nervous about being a good dad.
Oh my God. He's
gonna
be the best.
I know.
Serious. I don't mean that to like not validate what you're saying, but he's just gonna be the best.
You've
dad.
never done it, and you just like.
But he's such a natural. Like that is the last thing you should be nervous about.
It's very nice of you to say.
Well, it's true.
I'm still nervous.
I know. It's okay, honey. How did you hide the first trimester symptoms from your family?
We got pretty lucky that we didn't have to hide it for very long.
That's right.
Like there was one day.
Ethan drank my wine at Thanksgiving. Like we went into the living room, like away from our family.
One day.
With my full glass of wine, and he drank it, and then I walked out with it.
Grape juice looks exactly like red wine.
Thank you. Great one. And I didn't find that out until like I was telling people. So if you can somehow get grape juice into your wine glass, if you're a heavy red wine drinker like I was,
just pour grape juice
and it smells like wine too.
Bottle and
ooh, that's really tricky.
Cork it yourself, and then bring your own wine bottle. Just
make sure no one else grabs it. Yeah. Favorite first trimester workouts? I could not work out the way I used to, like almost immediately after I found out I was pregnant. I just couldn't do like my HIIT workouts or bar workouts anymore. So I started just doing yoga and flows. And that's all I've been doing because
we used to go for walks when you couldn't
that's
do any
true.
workouts.
I could walk. I was doing walks on the treadmill too, but I was exhausted. So walking, yoga, and flows. I've been doing Melissa Wood Health, and that's like sort of a little bit of toning, Pilates, and yoga have been my go-to. This will be the last question, which is, what is the deal with our living situation and or nursery? I feel like that was a good last question.
Well, we
live here, which you guys know. Yeah, and we just moved here in August. So we moved here fully thinking like, if we get pregnant here, it's fine. Like it was not really.
Kind of
it was kind of like our in between. We couldn't get pregnant at our last apartment, so we were like, if we want it to happen sooner than later, we don't need to buy a house, but let's just move to a bigger place. So we are looking to buy, and hopefully that happens before July. But if it does not, we are totally content and okay with having a baby in this space for at least like 6 months.
We just want to have a plan. That's why I keep saying I don't want to be in a situation where we have the baby and our lease is up in the same month here, and just kind of be like, well, I guess we should stay, and then not have an idea of what we want to do next.
I don't function well without a plan.
We're starting to turn the wheels a little bit on buying a house, and one of my closest friends is a realtor, and
we don't want to feel pressured into buying something just because of circumstance. We want to make sure it's a place we love and it's something we feel really good about.
We are ready to own a house and have
we've been ready for
space and our own space, and
so once that hopefully happens, then the nursery will come and I'll be able to share all of that stuff. But as of now, we don't have a nursery.
Might have some good content if we buy a house that we got and completely renovate.
That would be amazing. We're hoping to do that, but
we'll do it for the content.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna wrap up this video right here. Thank you, honey, for joining me. You're the best.
Thanks for having me.
And I hope you guys enjoyed this little Q&A. My next video will be up on Sunday. It'll be a vlog just kind of catching you up on where I'm at the start of the second trimester. And make sure you guys subscribe and thumbs up this video. Comment below if you have any questions or just want to say, hey, I love to see you down there. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Mwah.
Bye.